So I will be presenting, we'll be talking about brain science and cognition, and today's topic is sleep. We spend half our lives, one third of our lives sleeping. So I think it is very important that we talk about it and do justice to this topic. So what actually is sleep? So sleep is a periodic, natural, reversible, and near total loss of consciousness. It should be noted the word reversible. Since it is reversible, hence we cannot say that coma is asleep. So history of sleep research. So Eugene R. Sirinsky. In 1950s Chicago, he had a son called Arnold R. Sirinsky, 8 years old. So as he was going to sleep, he taped electrodes on his head and using an electroencephalogram, he monitored his brain waves. So during that time, the thought was that when we sleep, our brain is dead. It means basically it powers down. But when uh, he monitored the brain activity, he was shocked to see that there were a lot of activities going on in the brain, and this really inspired him. So he later, with Nathaniel Kleitman, worked, and they did a lot of work on REM sleep and REM sleep, and they basically became the pioneers of research in sleep research. So why do we need to sleep? That's a very good question if you see. So first is recuperation. We have to allow the cells, for example, all our body cells, uh, they need rest and they need to repair themselves, otherwise we will eventually die. Second, growth. The pituitary gland secretes hormones during sleep. That is the reason why small infants sleep a lot more than us, because they need to grow. Mental functions, improving memory, boosting creativity, etc. Uh, if you do not sleep, you will slowly lose your sanity, and I don't think so. That is something which you want. If you must, I think so. You all must have heard about the Russian sleep experiment, right? So, what are the types of dreams? So, there's the rapid eye movement and the non-rapid eye movement. So, this is the NREM sleep, and this is the REM sleep. The more the red color here indicates more brain activity. So now we will talk about sleep cycle. So these are the four basic sleep cycles: stage one, stage two, or REM one, REM two, REM three, REM, and so on and so forth. So you can see the plots here. Now, what is the sequence? So it is not like 1, 2, 3, and REM. It is actually like 1, 2, 3, again 2, and then REM. And this cycle repeats in 4 to 5. This is one cycle, and it happens 4 to 5 times, and it takes 90 minutes. So hence, we have to sleep around 7 to 8 hours for it to get complete in a proper way. Next, before we fall asleep, we are generating the beta waves, which we are currently generating as you are seeing this video. It is the normal alert consciousness, but when prior to sleep, when you feel drowsy and stuff, you are in a relaxed state and your brain is generating the alpha waves. Now, NREM1. Now, this is the stage between sleep and wakefulness, and hypnagogic hallucination. Very funny word, but it means you must have felt that jerk sometimes when you sleep, right? The sudden movement of your hands, or you must have felt that you're falling down. All this happens because of the hypnagogic hallucinations. Next is the Tetris effect. Now, in this, basically, you must have played the game Tetris, right? So, in that game, it is as if you keep playing that game the whole day and then you go to sleep, everything will seem like a Tetris to you. Your walls will move like a Tetris, and it depends on what kind of imagination you have. So, for example, if you're traveling the whole day in a boat, then as you fall asleep, you will still feel as if you're in the boat. Now, as you are hitting the NREM1 sleep, your brain starts to generate the theta waves, and these are relaxing waves. Now we hit NREM2. So in DS we have sleep spindle. So this is high brain activity, and we have K complex, which is low brain activities. You can be awakened, and more theta waves, eye movement almost vanish. Also, it is said that all this height in brain activity happens so that the brain can relax later on as we sleep. Next is the NREM3. It is in this you cannot wake the person up. It is very difficult to wake him up. And sleepwalking and talking happens here, and slow rolling delta waves. Now, NREM4 and NREM3 are usually merged together, but I am taking NREM4 so that we can do proper justice to it. It is in you are in a very deep slumber here, and brainwaves are the slowest and longest. Now, whenever you wake up in the morning, you always hit this sleep pattern and then you wake up, so that you always feel that yeah, you've had your share of sleep. But if you do not wake up according to your routine and you don't hit the NREM4, so even if you sleep a lot, you'll feel drowsy. Now we hit the main part, which is the REM, right? So this is a paradoxical sleep because mind is active and body is paralyzed. What happens is the motor cortex is jumping around, and it is sending, if it is firing neurons and sending signals throughout the body, but the brainstem does not let those signals go to the body. That is, it cuts it off from the spinal cord, and hence your whole body is paralyzed, but your eyes, they are moving rapidly, and this can be noticed very clearly. You have deep dreams over here, and the main part is the hippocampus, which is a seahorse shaped part of the brain. It converts the short term memory to the long term memory. Now, breathing during REM sleep is comparatively fast, and next is usually you have 20 to 25% REM sleep, and infants have 50 to 55% because it is believed that in the REM sleep, brain development takes place, and infants need more brain development, and hence they sleep longer and they have more REM sleep. Now, this is an example. Here, this is the deep sleep, and this is the dreaming part. So this was my sleep pattern. Now I am a bit abnormal because usually it doesn't touch 42%, but in my case it is, and well, it depends from person to person also. But I am a deep sleeper, and last but not the least, why do we need to sleep? Actually, it answered very beautifully by the circadian rhythm. So throughout the day, the endocrine system is generating cortisol via the adrenal adrenal gland. So when your cortisol levels are high, basically cortisol you can imagine is like a awake hormone. So you won't sleep as long as you have high cortisol level. You'll not feel drowsy that much, but as you hit as we are approaching the night, the melatonin hormone is secreted along with the adenosine hormone. So what adenosine is very interesting because it is melatonin and adenosine both act as sleep pressure. That is, when they are there, you will feel you they will pressure your body to sleep. So adenosine is very interesting because when you drink caffeine, so the adenosine receptors in the brain are blocked by the caffeine molecules, which mimic the adenosine, and hence adenosine is not traveling throughout the brain, and you do not, and hence caffeine can remove drowsiness, but it is not good in long term. So that's that, and also you can see that around 3 to 5 your around 3 to 5 your melatonin level has decreased and your cortisol level has increased. Now this is very interesting to see because in ancient India it is believed that a yogi wakes up between 3 o'clock to 5 o'clock as it is the peak. It is the best time to wake up, and you can see here and that is actually the case. So I think they knew what they were talking about. 3 o'clock to 5 o'clock, this is the perfect time to wake up. Also, it is also saying that the Gurukul system was actually following the circadian rhythm, and they assigned tasks different tasks throughout the day. For example, they used to do physical activity at this time and something of that sort, when they were able to understand how their hormones were working. And I think this is enough, and with this we should end the video. It's been 10 minutes. Ta-da.